Hello, my beautiful family. I'm your host, Mimi Talud. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome to the family. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. Today, we are going to be talking about a topic that we all struggle with, which is time management. Whether you are juggling work, family, or personal goals, finding balance can feel impossible sometimes. I know I struggle with it too, but don't worry. I'm here to share some practical tips with you guys that will help you manage your time better and adjust your routine to meet your goals. Now, let's discuss why time management is important. Life get very busy and it is easy to feel overwhelmed when you have so much on your plate. Now, if we're able to manage our time effectively, we can reduce stress, stay focused, and actually enjoy what we are doing. There have been moments in my life when I felt like I couldn't keep up, but small changes on how I manage my day made a huge difference. One example I can share with you guys is that last year I was pretty much working full time and I am still a member of the military, so I had drill at least one weekend in the month. I was studying for the real estate exam and I was in the process of researching to start this podcast. And it was a hard time because I had a lot on my plate and it got overwhelmed. So I had to practice time management and trying to figure out what was most important and categorizing my task in order what I needed to get done first, second, and third. When I had work, I had to go to work. When I had drill, I had to go to drill. But when it came to studying for the real estate and researching for the podcast, I decided to, focus more on studying. I was still researching for the podcast, but I was doing it little by little, where I was spending more time studying. Once I took the state exam and I passed, I shift my focus and I focus 100% on the podcast. So that was an example of how I use time management to manage my schedule just to make the workflow a little bit easier for me. Managing your time isn't just about being productive. When you prioritize what matters most, you create space for both work and the things that bring you joy and happiness. If you are trying to start a new habit like working out or learning something new, carving out 10 to 15 minutes for that specific goal. Because remember, small, consistent action will lead to success. While you are working hard, set some time aside for yourself. Take a break, give yourself time to rest because you need a break. For example, before recording this episode, today I had a few online courses that I had to complete for the military. And let me tell you, it took a good chunk of my day today. And I literally had to tell myself, listen, I had to pause and come record this episode because it was on my to-do list to record this episode today. So that's what I did. I took a pause to record this episode. But after recording this episode, I'm going to take at least 15 to 20 minutes just to rest and relax before I go back to my studying for the military. So just like that, give yourself time to decompress, and focus on you and do something that's not stressful. Even if it's just you sitting and just scrolling on your phone or I don't know, read a Bible verse, just do something relaxing. Definitely take some time for yourself, even if your schedule is busy, because you need it. Your mind need it, your body need it. And just taking break just make you happy overall. So I will definitely encourage you guys to take time for yourself as often as you can throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. Now I am going to share 7 practical time management tips with you guys that you can use during this week. Tip number 1, prioritize your task. Not everything on your to-do list is urgent. So start by identifying what task on your list is more important and start tackling these tasks first. You guys can use the Eisenhower matrix. It's a tool that helps you break your task into what is important and what is not important. After you separate your task into important and not important, you have to figure out of your important task, which ones are urgent and which ones are not urgent. Your urgent task can be something that needs to be done now, like right this second. An example that I can give you guys of an urgent task will be, let's say my phone bill is due today. That means there's no time to procrastinate and trying to pay it tomorrow. The bill is due today. I had to make that phone call, or I need to go online and pay my phone bill if I don't want my phone to be cut off. So that will be an urgent task for me. So you just have to decide, what is that urgent task for you that you need to do right now. So once you figure out which one that is, you tackle that task first. Once you're done with the urgent task, for whatever task on your list that is not so urgent, you can schedule it for a later day. Like, you don't have to do it today if your schedule don't permit you to complete that task today. An example will be me planning a trip 5 months from now. I know that I have to book my flight ticket. It's 5 months down the line. I don't have to do it today, but I'm gonna schedule a time so I can sit down and book my flight ahead of time. Because the longer you wait to book a flight ticket, the more expensive it is. So you want to do it as soon as possible. But I'm very busy today. So if I don't get to it today, it's not a big deal. So we just have to identify these little tricks and use it to your advantage. Now that we have talked about the tasks that are important, let's move to the tasks that are not so important. For the tasks that are not so important, you can pretty much delegate it to someone, or you can delete it. If you want to delegate a task to someone, I'm going to use the same booking a flight. Let's say the trip is approaching and I still haven't booked that ticket just because I just don't have the time. If I'm going with my friend, I can literally tell my friend, hey, I don't have the time to book the ticket. Are you able to book it for me? So I can delegate that task to someone else if I just can't fit it in my schedule. I know some people like to take on a lot of responsibility. They like to do things themselves instead of like letting other people help them. I know I'm like that a lot of time. I prefer doing everything myself, and it can be very stressful. So do delegate tasks to other people. Trust me, people are there to help you. People are willing to help you. So let your close one share your burden. If I tell my friends, book this flight ticket, they will have no problem. As long as they have the time, they will do it. So if you're a business owner and you have so much things to do on your to-do list, and there's something that you can delegate to an employee, go ahead and let them do it, because that will alleviate your stress level. Another good example would be a parent. If you are a parent, you have kids and it's the weekend and you are doing all the chores around the house, don't be afraid to ask your partner, ask your kids to help you around the house. Like, spread the love. Like, people won't get mad if you ask for help. People are willing to help. That is something I had to learn myself when I was like in like college, doing the winter break or spring break. I would come back home. I used to go to school upstate, and at the time I didn't have a car, so I would either take the train or I would take the bus from like upstate to New York City. And I remember, like, I would like drag my suitcase on the street to Penn Station, and when I get there and I'm like going down the stairs, people will like literally ask me, do you need help? And I will tell them, no, I don't need help, trying to be an independent woman. And I would like struggle to bring my suitcase down. Now, trust me, if somebody asks me, do you need help? I'm like, yes, please, thank you. Like, if you need the help, let people help you. So if you have tasks that can be delegated to someone else, delegate those tasks. For the tasks that are no longer relevant, just delete them. If it's no longer serving you or you feel like you no longer need to do it, delete it completely from your to-do list. Tip number 2, use a planner. It can be a physical planner or it can be a digital planner. I feel like when you use a planner, it helps you stay organized. Me personally, I prefer writing things down. I've been using a physical planner since high school. I write almost everything down. Writing things down keep you organized. It helps you see your schedule clearly. So I would definitely encourage you guys to get a planner if you don't have one, or you can use your phone. I know some people prefer using their planner on their phone, Or, you can even use like my note, different apps where you can like write down your to-dos, write down what you have coming up, important appointment. Using a planner is so important and it will help you manage your time better. For instance, in my physical planner, I write down like for my week, what days I'm working, what time I am working, and then, I schedule what do I need to do for the podcast, what do I need to research, or it can be schedule time to visit a friend or a family member. Just, write things down. It gives you a nice visual of what your week, your month look like. So I definitely encourage you guys to get a planner because it will help you with time management. Tip number 3, set a timer for your task. That's something that I don't do as often and I kind of want to start doing it, is like setting a timer on my task just so I know when to stop. Because the thing is with me, once I start something and once I get in the groove, I get very distracted and I get sucked in and I can forget the time. For instance, I was studying today. Um, I was taking some military online courses. And like I said, I wanted to record this episode. And I told myself I was going to give myself about 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours to study. I kind of went over that. Um, and I'm recording a little bit later than expected, but it's okay. That's something I want to practice, is basically timing myself so that I know, okay, this specific task, I'm going to do it for 20 minutes. And once my timer go off, it's time to move on to the next one. Another good benefit of using a timer, I feel like, is if you want to do something or you want to try something new, sometime when you do it for like a long period of time, you can get very tired of it. For example, let's say you want to start reading books. You might feel very overwhelmed if you're just sitting there reading for like an hour or 2 hours if you're not used to it. So you might want to like time yourself for like 10, 15 minutes to 20 minutes to read a little chapter or like one chapter at a time so that it's a little bit easier for you and then you don't feel annoyed and you don't give up. Because I know with me, if I'm doing something for a long period of time where I feel uncomfortable, I might not do it again. But if I do it for a shorter period of time, even if it's not the way I want to spend my time, but if it's going to be beneficial for me, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So I will just set the timer and do it little by little. So try it out and let me know how it goes for you guys. Like I said, it's something that I want to practice myself. Tip number 4, break your big project into smaller steps. For example, starting this podcast was a big project for me just because it is my first time creating content. It is my first time recording and, editing and posting. Also, using social media as often that I am using it. Well, I had to learn everything. So I'm the kind of person, if I want to start something, I want to do it right. I didn't just start the podcast just to start it. Before I started airing the podcast, trust me, I spent a few months researching everything. So I had to like break the whole process into smaller pieces so that it was like easier for me to work on so that I didn't feel overwhelmed. I can give you guys an example. First, I started researching, how you start a podcast, what app or what program I can use to record, what are some like good mics, some good headphones, some software that I can use to edit and stuff like that. And and I wanted like an intro and outro for my podcast. So these are all things I had to research. And like if I had to hire somebody to like create a cover art for me for the podcast page. So these are all things I had to do and research. So I just did them like little by little, and as I get closer and I just keep crossing things off, that's how I break a big task into smaller one. Is just make it more manageable that way. Tip number 5, learn how to say no. You probably see me smiling. It's just that you have to set boundaries and say no to people. You don't have to say yes to everything. I know there was a time in my life where I felt uncomfortable saying no, especially in the workplace. When I was in high school and I worked in Macy's on the weekend, like Saturday, I would work the morning shift. And almost every Saturday, when it was time for me to go home, a manager would approach me and ask me, do you want to stay later? Obviously, they were asking. I could have said no. But for some reason, when I was that young and, it was one of my first job, I felt awkward saying no to a manager. I would say yes, even though it made me feel uncomfortable, even though I didn't really want to stay there for that long. So definitely learn how to say no, set your boundaries, because the more you say yes to things that you really don't want to do, you're going to be upset. You're going to be upset. You're going to get angry and you're just going to feel unhappy. And you just don't want to be in that state. You want to be happy. You want to be true to yourself. Some people might get mad, but if you say no is going to make you feel good and is best for you, just say no or set boundaries. A no doesn't have to be a complete no. It can be, okay, I can't today, reschedule. Or if it's a complete no, that's okay. If that's your boundary, that's your boundary. You have to voice your opinion and people have to respect that. Do whatever make you feel comfortable, do whatever make you feel happy. So if something is not aligning with what will make you feel happy, say no, because you have to protect your time by setting boundaries. Tip number 6, schedule me time. This is one of my favorite ones. Definitely set time aside for yourself. Time management isn't just about work, it's also about making space for yourself. So don't forget to take time to rest and recharge, because once you take time to kind of like, decompress, you will feel fresh and renew, and you'll have more energy to continue whatever project or whatever work you're doing. Tip number 7, reflect and adjust. Basically, set some time aside to reflect on what you did during the week, what projects you tackle, what progress you made, and based on your routine, figure out what worked and what didn't work, and then you can go ahead and adjust your routine as needed. Self reflection is such a great tool to use. It's not only good for time management, it's good for you as a person because it will help you grow as an individual. Lately, I've been doing a lot of self reflections, on my behavior, my action. Overall, I feel like I have a positive experience with it. So I would definitely encourage you guys to definitely reflect on everything that you do, including time management. So reflect on how you manage your time this week and see if there are like certain adjustment that you need to make just to improve your time management. So today we talk about practical way to manage your time and balance your busy schedule. Remember, it's all about prioritizing what matters and making small adjustments that fit your lifestyle. Try one or two of those practical tips this week and see how it goes. Remember, it is okay if you don't get it right the first time. Progress is what matters. This is it, you guys. If you find today's episode helpful, share it with a friend who need a little reminder to manage their time. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram at Make Your Time Matter. And thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Au revoir.